host, Life Podcast. Yeah, of course you are hosted by this music running on too long. You are hosted by none other than your favorite fat freckle man, your favorite coach's favorite coach, the big dog himself. Who? Coach Charles in the building. Thank you, thank you. Feel free to give it up for me, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, this is the Life Be Life podcast. And as I told y'all in episode 104, we have some new additions for season 5. One of the new additions, we have not completely come up with the name for the segment just yet. So, it's tentatively for tonight. This will be, we calling the Tommy Talk for now, but we'll work on it later on, see if something sticks a little better. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, we have somebody who has studied a particular area who's going to be giving us some education during her segments. You know what I'm saying? It's for the grown. I would say it's for the mature, but I'm immature and I'm going to be here anyway. So, as long as you're willing to learn and listen and find out some new things, or maybe even if you want to add to the chat, feel free, likers. But of course, we have my homie in the building with us, Miss Tommy. What's going on?
Hey y'all. How y'all doing?
Miss Tommy, yeah. Y'all know people from the DMV love me, and she's also another one of those. So, um, what can I say? What can I say? Um,
DMV has love for the boy.
yeah, me. Um, but we are going to have a conversation, we're going to have a conversation about something that we experienced together as friends, and also, that sounded crazy. Pause, pause.
Cause also I'm childish.
Pause. But like I told y'all, I would start sharing like real life experiences. I don't think I'll ever be in position to be like the IRL streamer type, because my social battery is never gonna be that high. But um, and unfortunately, I was not able to get y'all the content from the event that I went to. If you saw it on Life Be Life and Now, you saw it on Life Be Life. And I went to a particular event in DC with my folks, and Miss Tommy was one of them. So, excuse me. This event, just to cut straight to the chase, this event went by the name of Exxxotica. Um, let me, in the meantime, before we get too into that, um, let me double check, make sure that our YouTube stream is indeed YouTubing. You know what I'm saying? Ever since we had that issue with the lovely ladies of main character back when, just give it up for them as well. They were here, but unfortunately, for some odd reason, it wouldn't record live that night. All right, so cool. We are good. The YouTube live is streaming. So by any and all means, lifers, get active in the chat. I'm gonna reach out to a couple of different people, share the links, and you know, just small talk y'all to death in the meantime. Miss Tommy, how's your week going?
It has been actually pretty good. Better than last week. Where at work we was having back to back senior passings.
Mm,
Um, so I am grateful for not necessarily a low key week, but everybody alive. Everybody alive. So, one of the things that we found working with seniors, if you've talked to people in the industry of any sort of geriatric care, is around this time you have a lot of senior deaths. I don't know what the phenomenon is, but this is kind of from now until March. You see an uptick.
mm,
Um, so better than last week for sure, because by the time the week ended, I was just kind of flat. with it. But what about you? How's everything going?
My week has just seemed long. I know part of it is me being tired, because I had a couple of rough nights of sleep. Like I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I came back kind of late. I couldn't meet my 11 o'clock deadline because I don't think. Yeah, I went to the game, to the Sixers game with my mom. I took her. We've gone to sporting events together. She's gone to a live game together, but I've never had the pleasure of being the one to take her on a sporting event. So I got some tickets from my cousin, and I'm like, all right, mom, let's go. So we went, and the Sixers embarrassed me in front of company. You know, Donovan Mitchell is really good, y'all. If you know anything about basketball, Donovan Mitchell is really good. And when you see it up close, he's actually that good. And Coco Jones is really that fine.
She is.
Like
She is.
in real life, just seeing her regular degular on the sideline, oh my gosh, she's still fine.
She
So
is.
it's
Um,
it's
I she was here in DC for she performed at Howard, and I just happened to see her. And this is before she was, known. We just
okay.
kind of had her on the scene. And I was like, oh, okay, she's great. And then I saw her at some festival here in DC, and she was just kind of not all glammed up because she wasn't initially a main ticket. She was just there. I was
Mhm.
like, dang, she cute, just naturally cute.
Yeah, yeah. I was late on the Coco Jones train. I had no idea who she was, that she ever existed. Like the first time I'd even seen her name, I kind of scanned past it. Um, and he was like, "You don't know who that is?" I'm like, "I have no idea who that is." So honestly, my introduction to her was Bel Air. My introduction to her was Bel Air.
Uh,
So I'm like, "Oh, they found a pretty dark skinned girl to play Hillary instead of going the light skin route. That's interesting." And then she did Spicy Chef and it just messed my world up completely. Oh, if you haven't watched Bel Air and been introduced to Spicy Chef, gentlemen, treat yourself. Go ahead, treat yourself. Season what? One? Yeah, 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 yeah. Go ahead and treat yourself to Spicy Chef, man. Um, because it don't last long. It don't last long. She don't stick around for long. Um, but yeah, I didn't drop my mom off till like about 10. So being as though, I live technically outside of Philly. Um, I had to make that ride back home afterwards. So I ain't get on until well after 11:30. Um, but yeah, this week just seems so long, friend. Like I was about to try to find a metaphor for long, but then I was already in my mind talking about pause. Like long as this, it just already sounded pause in my head. So but yeah, this week has just seemed long and not like, depressing long or anything. It's just like the days is like, all right. Like, can we get to Friday, please? Um, but outside of that, um, I ain't really got too many complaints. We had a couple of seasonably warm days here in Philly, um, before it got back to being like cold, cold. Um, I'm not, under bronchitis the way I have been the past few weeks. So I ain't finna complain, and I'm here with the lifers and you tonight. So I count it all as wins.
we appreciate that. We gonna count it all joy.
Indeed, indeed. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into the topics while hopefully the lifers fill the lanes. Um, so back to the event we went to, Exotica with the three X's. So that should let y'all kind of have an idea of the kind of thing it was. You are a vet, whereas in it was my first time pulling up. And I think that's a kind of good way to lead into the conversation to give our different perspectives. So I'll go first. Normally I have the ladies go first, but I think because you were the vet and you understand things from such a bigger scope, and I feel like honestly you just have more to provide on that end of the conversation than I do. I'll just go first just to get my little bit of of it out the
Going to
way. You know what I'm saying?
going to get the edge off.
You know what I mean? But okay, so like you probably if y'all have seen maybe advertisements for it or things like that, you're like, oh man, it seems like they get a little freaky over there, a little adventurous. And while I ain't, you know, as a married man, I ain't trying to just go places and cut up and be, filthy. We all adults, man. We all adults, and especially for somebody in my age, we got to stop treating sex like it's taboo. We got to stop, treating things of the sexual nature as if it's taboo, as if it has to be in hushed hush tones. I mean, am I finna tell y'all me and my wife's sex life? Fuck no. But nonetheless, like, I'm gonna study things, I'm gonna learn things so that she and I have the opportunity to have the best possible sex life we can have. And sometimes that takes, sometimes we'll look, a couple will look up those things together. Sometimes it's gonna take one half of the couple to go on their self and find some other things and bring it back home to the crib. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just kind of like, well, I recognized a couple of the celebrity names that normally show up. So I thought that would be interesting too. And a couple of people I follow on IG said they was going to pull up. So I'm like, all right, this just sound like a cool thing. I always wanted to see what it was. It's not AVN. Like I've been to an AVN event before, and that's something completely different. Um, but I'd never been to Exotica, so I'm like, all right, cool. Slide. The building was hot. That's how now she can say the
I
whole thing
told you
about me getting
so.
sick. You could say it. Um, but the building was hot. I mean, hot as hell. I was what Enes call himself, Sweaty Murphy. I was Sweaty Murphy Jr. in that joint, man. I had to take the hoodie clean off. Also, the hoodie I had on. Shout out to Myron, top chatter. You know what I mean? But on the back of it, it said, "God has not forgotten you," and it just didn't seem like it was gonna come off right. It seemed like it might come off judgy. You know what I'm saying?
Actually,
Because the truth
that
is, God ain't forgot nobody, right? But you at this event, you got some, you got some corn stars in the building. You know what I'm saying? You got some OnlyFans in the building, and then somebody walk past you with a hoodie talking about some God has not forgotten you. It's like, okay, who said he did? Like, I didn't, that wasn't up for debate for me. What are you trying to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, yeah, nah, this joint gonna come off. Um,
so
my
that
problem
lets me
was
know you
going
didn't.
back and forth in the outdoors without the hoodie back on. But that's another story. So yeah, you had the heat going on. You had a lot of different stuff that I had no idea what anything was as a first timer, like what any of the booths were really supposed to represent out of the stuff that was just clearly obvious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the kind of the adult, film stars, you could tell what they booth is about specifically. Their fans are going there to get pictures, autographs, um, paraphernalia or whatever. But then you had other booths that kind of like had different layers to them. You had the IRL stream booths and kind of like sections, honestly. So that was something different to see and experience. You had this part called the dungeon that I didn't actually participate in this time, where it's kind of like getting deeper into learning some other things, and different experiences and stuff like that. But I was just kind of like, it's my first time, so I just keep it on the surface so as to not overload myself, not burn myself out. But still, I had fun. Most of the people was really friendly, good vibe. It was a couple of people there that was like, "Why you acting like that?" But like this one furry there, I went to smack shit out, boy. I ain't gonna lie to you. He was just like rude. In fact, the furry you gave your hoodie to, he was cool with you, but he was rude towards me, man. So think back to the lovely young performer Onyx,
Mhm.
who was on main stage. And remember, main man was passing out hoodies. He gave me the hoodie, he gave you the hoodie,
Mhm.
gave
Mhm.
Meech the hoodie or whatever. And you had parted with your hoodie, I believe, with with the young furry man. Um, but he was rude towards me. I don't know. And he was rude towards other people too, because somebody was like, "Oh my God, you look so cute." I know, bitch.
That's not who I gave my hoodie to.
I thought you gave it to the furry man.
No, I gave my hoodie to, he was younger for sure, but he had
Oh,
locks. I didn't give him to the
okay,
furry man. That's what was throwing me off.
okay. Because I
But
saw
the
the
furry
furry
man
man
was
over
still
there.
cool with me.
Yeah, I bet he was. Everybody, everybody loves Tommy. Everybody hates Chris, but everybody else loves Tommy. I swear. I mean, she is though. She's cool people. I stamp it.
Kinda.
Um, but yeah. So I would say like I said, there was some cool things going on at different people's booths. You had different people kind of there, marketing themselves or, just talking about different experiences and stuff like that. You had people walking through that just would chop it up with you. I saw a particular adult actress that, I was a fan of, and she was just so just generally dope and friendly. That was a cool experience too. Because they'd be like,
My
don't meet your
girl
heroes.
Misty.
Well, no, Misty, I was gonna say that part for later on because she's a legend. She's not an actress. She's a legend in the game. You know what I'm saying? So that was a completely different experience. And granted, right? Let's be honest. Let's shoot straight, folks. You go into some of these people's booths and you're paying, so they better be nice to you, right?
Should be. Should be.
But I will give credit to a couple of people that it seemed like it wasn't just like, okay, I'm gonna be nice to you because I'm paying. It actually just was like genuine, conversations, genuine interactions. And what you really paid for was the pictures. What you paid for was, the freedom of space to, kind of like literally be in a space or take the kind of pictures you wanted to. But in terms of that interaction with the individuals, like it was pretty solid and on a human basis, on the natural human basis. Now, some I could tell some girls was definitely being extra with certain people, because they got to bring it out of you. You know what I'm saying? Or they know what you expecting. But for the most part, I think it was just a cool, solid experience, and I plan on going back this year. But again, like I said, I'm a rookie. I ain't really got much to tell because I didn't really do a ton of things. And it was my first time there. So I didn't even know what to expect going in. Tried to go in with no expectations so that I couldn't possibly be disappointed, but also, what I'm saying, I wouldn't be like overloaded. But that's my portion of the Exotica experience. Go ahead, break it
So
down for us and get a
I
little
have
pause, but get a little closer to the mic.
yeah, definitely pause that. um so this is definitely not my first rodeo with Exotica. The
shout out
very
to
first
shout out to Myron in the chat. The heroes that I've met always disappointed. Not always for me, but I've definitely met a couple that disappointed. So I get why people say don't meet your heroes. I
heroes
get it.
for sure. Um the very first year Exotica came to DC, which I want to say was like in 2021. Um Maybe it was 2022. I went and I have gone every year with the exception of 2024.
Mhm.
Um so this year I was really surprised at the setup, especially considering it was the 20-year anniversary of Exotica.
Mm,
And I wasn't impressed in comparison to other years. So let me also say that in previous years, uh Goddess Tayomi, who was actually my motivator for pursuing my professional sex education designation. Um, she had curated a lot of their like educational events, and she herself has a very large following. And
okay.
so I think with her being involved, like I think she joined the ranks with them in 2017. So from 2017 up until, I don't know if she stopped last year or in 2024, but up until that moment, her following had, been close knit. So you
Okay.
had a lot more vendors there in previous years, and I mean in totality. This year the only toy vendor that they had was the one that belonged to Exotica. in previous years, you had multiple toy vendors. So you kind of had different options than just what they had in the back.
Okay.
Um, you also were able to talk to people one on one. Although Exotica's toy vendor or their toy store, if you will, had people there, they weren't overly friendly or helpful. If you were looking for something in particular or looking for information, you kind of were chasing people down. So that was different for me. There were far less stars than previous years. Like one particular year, I don't know if you're familiar with the Glory Hole Girls. Have you ever
Uh,
seen? So they were there with a whole Glory Hole station
oh wow.
one year. Um, a few years, well, the year before that, they had. So I've met Misty every time I've gone. Every time I've gone, I meet Misty. And she is very friendly, just overly friendly and genuine. This year when I saw her, I wasn't even paying attention. I just happened to be in the bathroom and we were talking about random, like we were talking about the fact that they had outfitted the women's bathroom with like sanitary napkins and feminine hygiene stuff. And I happened to look up finally at who I was talking to and I said, Misty. And it was not cuz she was about to go on break. It wasn't a girl stop bothering me. It wasn't anything like that. It was just genuine love and, hugs and I see you later kind of thing.
Okay.
Um so I definitely agree with you that no matter when I've gone, everybody who's there has been friendly. Um Something that I actually liked seeing this year and I appreciate it was they gave you a URL code for you to scan if you felt like your safety was being violated. And
Mm.
security, they only handed it to the women. Security would come to you based off of whatever you put when you scanned it. That was something that they
Okay.
hadn't had in previous years, and I actually appreciated it. Now, I've never gone and felt unsafe. Let me say that.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that other people haven't gone and didn't feel safe. And in that type of environment, whether you are there to enjoy yourself, no matter how you're dressed, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
there is always somebody there, man or woman, who will take advantage of the situation. And so I
Fortunately.
think that them offering that space of, hey, if you feel like you're in danger, scan this or call this number and security will come immediately to you. I thought that was great.
That's dope.
Um, and it was important to have.
Yeah.
Um, I also enjoyed the fact that they had the dungeon space for people who are kink positive or want to learn more about it. It gave a safe space to take separate classes for that, as
Mm.
well as experience some things that you may have been watching previously or wanting to take part of. So there were some additions there that I thought were great additions, but overall for me, I wouldn't have said this was my best year going. It just was a lot that was lacking. And I don't again know if that has to do with the fact that Tayomi wasn't there, so the people who follow her and come to those things weren't there, or
Mm-hmm.
if it just wasn't enough of an uptick for people who, registered to come. Whatever the reason, I won't say it was bad. I just would say it wasn't how it had been in previous years. And so that was, slightly disappointing for me, again, as somebody who's gone before, but it wouldn't stop me from going again.
Okay. Um, the safety thing that you mentioned, I think that's pretty cool. And um, speaking of which, so I was only made aware of this earlier this week, and I don't know if it's putting her business out there, so I won't mention her name. But it's a young lady who, who I was following on IG, who ended up being there, and she was really sweet, really like kind, generous, um, friendly, and all that kind of stuff. And so and she even gave me a comic book that she drew. Um, so I told her, I'd read it and hit her up and give her my feedback. I did, and then I think I saw 2 days later she posted in her story that somebody had sent something with a glitter bomb to her crib. So according to her, she already figured out who it was from. The wife of a dude who essayed her while she was at Exotica.
No. At this year's Exotica?
Now, what I don't know is which one, because you have people who go to multiple shows, and Exotica is in multiple cities.
Right.
So even though I saw her when I was with y'all in DC, I don't know if it was that one in particular where that occurred or another one. And I guess and I didn't even stop to ask, because I guess I just assumed that it wouldn't be the DC one, simply because when she was there with like 2, 3 people, one of which being a guy. Now she didn't have no booth or nothing like that. But she was doing cosplay, like she did a Power Rangers cosplay or whatever. Um, so everywhere she went, it was either she was with all 3 of her people, or at least one of her 3 people. So um sounds like a low budget Diddy party. It wasn't low budget at all, and it wasn't, no, I don't do Diddy
It wasn't
parties,
even
but
that kind of event.
that was a reach. That was a
A
reach.
heavy reach to the heavens.
That was a reach. Um, but that just so when you said that, it kind of came to mind, because I'm thinking that's actually a really good thing to have. Now I will also say, because of who I am, give it to the men too. Give it to the men too, because I know people don't like to think that men get essayed, but they do, both by men and women. And I think that having the freedom, especially like you said, a QR code that you can scan, like if it happens to a guy, that would make it so much easier for him to send for help, because it's already hard for dudes to talk about that kind of stuff, admit that they've been essayed. You know what I'm saying? Whether it is by male or female, it's that much harder for guys to do. The embarrassment, people, gonna bid on you, people gonna think you weak, you a punk, whatever, whatever. So if all you have to do is scan the QR code to get somebody to get you out that jam, um, men can benefit from that too. So hopefully, somebody passes the word on to them that, slide that to the fellas too. But that's a really good feature to have. I'm glad they did. I hope they continue to offer that. That's really good. And I don't know if Shorty was aware of that or not, or if she ended up using that to get out that jam. But it's just sad to hear that somebody, you know, is doing that at these events, man. Because like I said, like like not to be like that, but if you want to get, like you said, there was places that's kink friendly. You got people there who are like, touch whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? They friendly, they're open, like, they put whatever butt cheek you want on you, or whatever. They'll smash the face boobs if that's what you want, right? The dudes will pick you up on your shoulders if that's what you want. So it's not like if you want that kind of contact, you can't find it. Now, granted, certain places it's gonna cost you some bread for it. But other people is just like, in the event, they just cool with that. So if that's what type time you want, there's just no reason for you to be sitting there pushing past anybody's boundaries. Like
Right.
it's just not. Like there's literally no excuse. I mean, I don't think there's ever an excuse, but in a place where you can also literally go, like it's on the menu, like, so to speak. Go experience that if that's what you want. If you want to be touched, go over in a place where that's the thing where they have a booth for that, as opposed to harassing somebody. Or go, I mean, I was about to say go flirt, but I know not everybody's good at flirting, and people are socially awkward. But go over to you. Like I said, you walk around, you see what's popping, and you can figure stuff out without having to be a nasty, filthy person. But that says something about the person that you are.
I was going to say, but in those types of spaces, there's an entitlement there.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I said. That says
it,
something about the person you are.
it's it's one of the reasons why I did enjoy the
Stay
feature,
close to
and
the mic. Pause.
it's one of the reasons why I absolutely did like that. That was something that they had introduced, because in those spaces, people come to them not necessarily to learn, but because, just like Myron said, with this assumption that it's a free for all
Mm,
and anything is open, anything is up for grabs. And that's not what that is. And
right.
also, there should never be that kind of assumption about people's bodies, right? Just because people are in a particular industry, just because people go to particular events, does not mean that their bodies are up for grabs just because you're there. It doesn't mean that their bodies are, in a space where you can touch just because that's what you feel like you should do or you want to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which is why I don't have a problem with when those girls say you got to pay for that picture. Because I've seen when men take the pictures and how handsy they get. So at the end of the day, these women are adult film stars. You got to pay just like anybody else has to pay for the scene. You know what I mean? But what it isn't is a space for you to feel like you are entitled to people's bodies and personal space.
Yeah.
That's not what that is. And that's actually a part of a lot of the reasons why I got into the space of sex education, is because the conversations, especially in our community, are so taboo. And there are such heavy assumptions about people who are in particular industries, people who enjoy particular things. And so these entitlements come into play, and it just makes it harmful
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to enjoyable.
Facts. Facts. So speaking of you getting into this space, let's talk more about this space that you've gotten into, which is why you're getting your own segment, you know,
So,
name to be determined.
I name to be determined. um COVID brought me here, actually.
Mm,
COVID, like a lot of people, we was crafting, exploring, cooking, TikToking. We were doing whatever it was. I
mm-hmm.
had a homegirl who was like, "Hey, you want to sell pure romance with me?" And I was like, "All right, I ain't got nothing else to do." And so from there, kind of birthed my getting serious about it. I had been toying around with the idea. Like I said, I had met Goddess Tayomi a few times, and her sense of empowerment and encouragement, I really liked, right? It wasn't like I wasn't already, let's be honest, I'm out in these streets, sexually active, like most of us, married or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're abstinent, you have at least explored. Um, so
Ooh,
it was
abstinence. Ooh, say no. I'm just joking. I'm just bullshit. Go ahead.
it was even in the space of if you were leveraging, your experience with getting comfortable more. Because let's be honest, a lot of us have experience, but we ain't really comfortable in the space of sex or our sexuality, what it is that we like. We don't really know our bodies the way that we should to be able to say, hey, this is something that I want to do, or anything like that. And so the more I got comfortable in the space and as I began to sell the toys and talk to more women, because the thing with Pure Romance is it was very different from any other brand. It was very woman specific and woman driven.
Okay.
And so, although initially I was like, but why can't the men come? I actually got used to just having women centered spaces, and I found that they opened up more in those conversations and they were able to be a little more free
Okay.
and feeling safe about what it is they were curious about, so on and so forth. So that's kind of how this all birthed was COVID, me beginning to sell Pure Romance, and giving women space to be able to communicate. Um, from there, I kind of stopped my education
Hmm.
short. I stopped it short. Life happened. Life really do be lifing sometimes.
Factuals.
um, I had a complicated job. I was, depressed, and it was just a lot going on. So I paused my studies, but somewhere in me, I'm not really sure what, but I was like, oh, let me resume it while also being in school full time. Pray for me, y'all. Pray for me as I pray for you.
The grind is real.
So I am definitely, in training, if you will, from my certification. But I don't lack education or the ability to talk freely and safely about our bodies and sex and the enjoyment of it. Um, and I want to, in this space, create a very shame free space for the lifers to be able to come in, sit down with us, and unwind and feel empowered to take charge over their sexuality and what that looks like to them, men and women. Because being honest, a lot of men understand pleasure very one dimensionally.
Hmm.
If y'all nut, it's like, oh, okay, I came and that's it. No, for real. A lot of men don't realize what orgasming is beyond that. There is this assumption that because you nutted, that's the end all be all of an orgasm. That's not actually the case. And so a lot of men, when you talk to them, haven't necessarily experienced that. And if you ask them, well, what do you enjoy? It's very simplistic.
Coochie.
It's very, you know what I'm saying? Or some of them are ashamed to say what it is that they actually like. And some of that is because space hasn't been given for them to explore it or for them to be able to say it without there being a stigma attached to it. Um, and so I want to create that safe space for men and women without it being judgment. Um, that is what my agenda is, if you will. Um, I I don't believe in shame. So one of the rules, right? So the rule for this segment is that we don't yuck anybody's yum. The only yucks that we will be giving is race play.
Mm, for sure.
Race play. There are a lot of sex education people who will not agree with that, and that's okay because most of them don't look like us. Um, we yuck your race play, and we absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, yuck pedophilia.
Absolutely.
We not finna play those games. But everything else, we give a space to exist without somebody yucking their yum. If it ain't your thing, that's cool. It don't have to be.
Can
Nobody
we yuck
told you to go
scat
out and
play?
try it.
Can we yuck scat play here?
No, we can't. No, we cannot.
Hey, Curly.
It's not. It's not your thing, but it is somebody else's, and that's okay.
All right. I'll abide by the rules. I'll talk about y'all outside the segment.
That's fine. But we do not yuck other people's yum. Just because it's not your flavor doesn't mean that it should be frowned upon.
Stay close to the mic. You can't back up because your voice dropped, and we want to get everything that you say.
I got you.
Um, hey, we got Sonny in the building as well. What's up, Sonny?
Hey,
So I
Sonny.
said, I so wish I could be live with you and talk about exotics. Drop your knowledge about the exotics in the chat that you want to drop. We haven't got the exact schedule, but it is going to be a monthly thing. So once a month, she will be having this segment, and I will definitely put it out there. And of course, she will, put it out there to let folks know so that y'all know when to expect her on to have these conversations. So if you feel so moved as to want to come on the actual episode and have the conversation, Sonny said, "Hey, lady, um, that could possibly be arranged. That could possibly be arranged." And the only reason I said possibly is because at the end of the day, what they say, I run a strict program. At the end of the day, while I do want the lifers to participate and I'm saying join and stuff like that, I am gonna be kind of like I am gonna have my hand on the amount of rope that y'all have because I don't want anybody getting disrespected. I don't want anybody thinking that just because I allow for the space for y'all to come on here and share that you're gonna go on here and wild out. Um, Love you too. Be safe. Um, so yeah, I before I've let conversations go for the sake of conversation, but especially in an area like this where we're talking about something that, as Tommy said, it's kind of hard enough for people to kind of broach the subject. I can't let people come in here and wild out, talk crazy. And by what I mean by wild out and talk crazy is like in any way that's kind of disrespectful. And also, if you a friend of mine, I noticed you putting somebody else's business out that don't need to be put out. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a Yankee chain. Pause. Pause. I'm going to, take the rope from you. I'm going to take the rope from you. I'm not going to let you hang yourself with that rope or hang them with that rope by putting out business that you shouldn't, because we don't do the exposing thing. Um, even if it's by accident, we don't do all that. But yeah, no, if y'all want to join the conversation, the more the merrier. For sure, I'm gonna talk Sunny into coming on for us, one of her segments, one of Miss Tommy's segments, because this right up Sunny alley. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't caught Sex with Sunny on GFT Radio, you know what I'm saying, go back and look at some of those episodes. You heard? Um, but yeah, so trying to see what we doing with the time we have left, to see if there's anything that you could kind of like, I don't know, kind of
I
like a
can wrap.
teaser for a sake.
I can do that.
All right, yeah. Give us a little something. Give us a few bars, a few bars.
So, one of the things, common thing that you'll hear me say, and probably every time I come on the segment, I'm going to tell y'all stop faking orgasms. Just stop.
Mm.
Stop pretending. Stop all of it. Just stop.
Hold
Now,
on, hold
I
on,
get
hold on,
it.
hold on. Say it. Get closer to the mic and say it again.
Stop faking orgasms. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Men and women, by the way. She means everybody.
Yes,
Whatever you want to even address yourself as, she means you too.
absolutely. And let's keep it a stack. A lot of times we do it to spare somebody's feelings. We might be tired and we just want the session to end. It could be any number of things that we do it, but stop it for a couple of reasons. One, you're denying yourself pleasure, right? And so if you're doing it to spare somebody's feelings, you're denying your own pleasure at a future date. And so what you can't do is swing back around and say you never do. Well, how would they have known if you was in there, you know, putting on an all-star winning performance?
She deserves an Oscar.
and never said anything, right? And then you turn them loose to somebody like me, and I'm confused. I
Okay.
am confused.
Okay. So I'm not the expert here, and I'm not going to be doing too much interruption in her segments, but let me say this because I try to get women to understand this very real truth. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of inside baseball. I'm not really breaking God code by saying this, but if you think I am, all right, whatever. The fact is, women who like to complain about dudes who are poor sexually or bad sexually, especially grown men, you know what I'm saying? Men at the big ages being bad at sex. I will always place the blame on women's feet. Why? Because most of these dudes have had partners before. And granted, the truth is, if we want to be the best sexual partner we can, that's our own journey we have to go to discover, to learn, first of all, what we like, second of all, what we're capable of. And then when we get with somebody, we try to understand their body. That's the truth. But from the comical and teasing perspective, I will always blame women because I'll say some women before was turning the hell up when he was doing that. You want to know why he's sitting there biting your nipples like it's a crunch bar? Because three other women before that was like, oh my God, when he did it. You know what I'm saying? So you want to know why he doing a purple nurple on you? Like he's sitting there putting clamps on. When he put them clamps on, he acting like he giving a car a jump. He's sitting there, before you put your damn clamps on. It's because there's women before that acted like that was cool. You want to know why she can't get no head, boss, and she already in her 40s? Is because every dude before just sat there and was like, "Oh yeah, 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 I mean, go ahead, girl," and never stopped to be like, "Yo, if you bite me again, you like to see me outside." Like at the end of the day, like she said, you're not only are you denying yourself, but you are setting other people up for failure. You're setting up this person for failure to continue to be bad for as long as they get rave reviews. Because what's everybody joint? What's everybody joint? I don't get no complaints.
Right?
Everybody
Yeah.
love that line. I never got no complaints. People keep coming back. So yes, like honestly, just be real, right? If somebody's food is terrible, if somebody's food is terrible and people kept coming back and ordering the food, why would the person think they not one of the best chefs and cooks in the world? It is absolutely no different with sex. Kane, welcome to the pod, bro. Welcome to the episode. It's absolutely going to be no different. So all that faking, whether it's for relationship purposes, whether you hope the person will get better with time, um, whether you on a drought and it's probably you know might be the last you'll get for who knows how long. You're not really racking up. The situations like that. Faking it is setting up that person to continue to be bad, and you're setting it up for the next person to have a bad experience. And that's not fair, right? We could avoid all that. We could avoid all that. If somebody's going to be bad, let them be bad at their own recognizance. That they don't want to choose to do the work, that they don't want to study another person's body, that as long as they get in there, they're cool with it. And I know dudes always say, but I still hit though. It's women that's cool as long as they get some too. Just so y'all know that. It's a women that low key be like still hit though. But I'm done with my interruption. Back to the person who actually studied things.
Um, yes, what you said is correct. Um, I don't know. So there's also the reality that just because they're bad for you doesn't mean that they're bad for the other person, which is
Hmm.
why I'm heavy on when you fake it, you are denying your own self pleasure, right? Because the more you fake it, you're not being true enough to yourself to say, but you know what? I really like when you do this for me because this turns me on or this does this thing, right? And so you're denying your own needs when you fake it, to just drive it to the finish line, to spare a feeling, to do any of those things. And so the thing about sex is it is communication based. And so often we don't communicate. People say, "Hey, how you doing? I like that green on you," and then we're in bed. And okay, cool. If that's your journey, again, I'm not here to judge that. But if
Right.
that is your journey in that space that you're in, what that means is you say, "This is what I need," right? Sometimes you have to negotiate your needs in sex. And people don't like to hear that because it feels very mechanical. But negotiations can be fun. Negotiations can absolutely be fun because
Absolutely.
what you're doing is you are making it fun. You are making it sexy when you negotiate what it is that you need. So don't look at sex as this taboo conversation of we go into the room, we shut the lights off, and 15 minutes later, now we rolled over and somebody go make a sandwich. It doesn't have to be that cut and dry. Um,
But always include the sandwich.
if that's your thing, if that's what you need, if that's what you need, listen, go pre-make the sandwich and then just go grab it from the fridge. Whatever.
No, no, we ain't pre-making sex sandwiches. Sex,
You might be tired.
the sex sandwich, the fact that they made that sandwich for you after you perform, it hits different. It hits different. It's like a reward.
You better take this pre-made sandwich
Beyonce
and
took
eat it.
take her man a Red Lobster. Just getting the sex sandwich is good enough.
Listen, you better take this pre-made sandwich because I'm tired. I want some water and I'm ready to pass out.
See, see,
And if you get to spend the night, call it all joy.
see. We not even finna get into that tonight. We not even finna get into all that tonight. That's another
I'm just
story.
saying.
That's another story.
I'm simply saying that maybe you should stop asking for so much. I'm just saying.
That's crazy.
Um, so I see this comment, and I always think it's interesting when the blame gets put on women for being difficult. It's not just a woman thing. All bodies are uniquely made. You cannot give the same fellatio that you did for Charles to Paul.
Give me a little
It's
more
it's
volume.
um no penis is the same, just like no vagina is the same. So it's not that women are more complicated. It's just that women don't we don't have the external, right?
Hmm.
So with a penis, it is outer, it is more veins and nerve endings on the outer space that you all can readily enjoy, rather. With a woman, it's a little different. You have to put a little more time in it. So I don't agree with the notion that women are more difficult. I just think that women don't communicate more about what it is that they need, and that's where the difficulty comes in. But I hear him. I see his point. I get it. And that's the whole point of this is to make people feel more comfortable talking about their needs. I'm going to be throwing in some toy education because that's my jam. Um, Once we find out if I can actually showcase toys without us getting completely shut down,
And I have seen videos where they do have them displayed. Just
okay.
FYI.
So then we will have some toy
I don't know how they
education
gonna
for.
like be life after we do it, but we'll see.
I hope I don't get us shut down because I would feel really, really terrible. But y'all will learn some good stuff. Um, but I am going to showcase some men and women's toys for you all to feel more comfortable in that space. Oftentimes, I hear men saying, "What I need to use that for?" A lot of things. A lot of things. It makes for great foreplay, especially toys that you could wear out in public with your woman and set the tone that way. Um, so don't be scared of adding that either into your bedroom. Sex is fun. Sex is fun. Sex does not have to be mechanical. It does not have to be this space where it is taboo or we don't talk about that or it's only used for procreation, you know. Oftentimes in certain spaces, you hear people become shy because of their upbringing, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up in the church. I got a whole pastor for a daddy. And so there is this thought process that you don't talk about it because you are of the church, right? But there's nothing biblically that says that you can explore sex. It just says the marriage bed is undefiled. So we have taken this topic and bottled it up into something that we don't talk about, something that we don't explore. And then you get married to a particular subsection of women and you're frustrated because they're not as adventurous in the bedroom. Or you get married to this particular type of man and you get married that he doesn't know that you want to be lightly choked in sex, but you don't have the conversations, right? So that is why I'm here once a month to open up the door for conversation and to explore with the lifers.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Give it up for Grown Sex Ed, man. Give it up for Grown Sex Ed. Again, we don't have the working title just yet, but that's just the plan. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to continue to try because again, I want to make life be lifing, not just a podcast. I genuinely would love to develop a community of like-minded individuals who are just trying to live our life to the fullest because we know anything can happen any day, and it just feels like life be lifing all the time. Um, so the same way I had most men don't want to be taught. Don't speak for most men, brother. Don't speak for most men. Let's not do that. Let's not speak for most men. Um, but there's definitely men who don't want to be taught. There's definitely men who's never gonna like understand or take the time to want to understand the partner. They just want their own pleasure and probably not even having the best sex they can because they're not even understanding their own bodies. But again, that's a conversation for another one of the segments that she will be bringing to us monthly. But like I said, the same way that I had my man Adama come on and answer some questions for y'all last season, and he will be back this season. I'm not sure how many episodes I'm gonna get him for, because professional people, you can't just be playing with their time, for free. I didn't say you said all. Most was the word I used. I quoted you. Most. And no, I don't think that most is the true case. I don't think that's fair to speak for most men in that sense of don't want to be taught. Um, because there's a lot of things about sex that a lot of men don't even understand before we could even say whether or not they truly want to be taught. So I don't think that's necessarily fair to just say most. Um, but I'm glad you're here as well. I mean, you're always welcome. I always appreciate your support, Myron, all the lifers, Chris who came on, Sonny who came on. I appreciate all y'all for jumping in the live. Um, of course, of course, of course. Please like, share, subscribe every time we're on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Get active into the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You see the post on Facebook, you see the post on IG. Like, share, subscribe. If you are not subscribed, and please like the videos. We all do it. We all watch YouTube videos, like the video, and then go on and watch another video without ever hitting like. The likes help, so please smack the like button on the videos, smack the like button on the posts, all that. It helps me get bigger and better, help grow the community. You heard? Um, just reminded you to share. That's why I said I got to make sure that I remember to remind y'all because we all human and we all do it with other people's channels that we watch and enjoy, but we just didn't take the time out to subscribe. We didn't take the time out to hit the like. We didn't take the time out to share, even though we enjoyed it. Got here late. My man V Brown, man, in the building. I shout out to Quick 15 and 44 Sound Check. Definitely gotta slide and do a collab with y'all and gotta have y'all over here. Everybody's coming in as we rap, and this is crazy. Russ, what's good, brother, man? You know what I'm saying? Your favorite trucker's favorite trucker, you know what I'm saying, my bro. Denver Daddy. But you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody, even though y'all came in here late. I am wrapping this up. Uh, but I will be back here next Thursday at 9 p.m. And Miss Tommy will be in the chat more than likely, but her segment, her official monthly segment, starts in February. Ooh, maybe we should start close to Valentine's Day. We'll talk about that off the air. But I feel like that
Okay.
that's a great idea. I feel like doing it that week is a great idea. My bad, still driving. Yeah, it's always love, bro. It's always love. Hey man, you ain't gotta apologize. You out there working. You heard? Stay safe first and foremost. Um, but yes, I can rap. You know what I'm saying? I know we be doing the hour 30 episodes, but I'm really trying to tighten up. I'm really trying to get a tight ship this year in season 5 in 2026. Plus, it gives us more to talk about later on. You heard? In South Carolina. All right, bet. Um, we're gonna watch the playback for sure. And as I said, please share, like, subscribe, tag people. You know what I mean? Tell them get active in the comments. Go back and watch the old episodes. Damn it. Scroll down and watch the old episodes. You know what I'm saying? The way I see life be life is something. It's gonna be at least one episode, 2 episodes. Now I'm gonna be bold. It's gonna be at least 2 episodes that everybody likes. And it's gonna be probably at least one episode everybody hates too, depending on who you are. It's not gonna all be the same episode, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. On behalf of A.C.E, my brother who he always be, on behalf of the sponsor of the Two Kings 215 podcast and Life Be Life and podcast, Denver Mom, excuse me, Quiche with the cakes, um, my bro homegirl, all that good stuff. The owner of Simply Nashe Catering. And of course, on behalf of our grown folk educator in the building, Miss Tommy. As I always say, be respectful, be patient, be smart, be kind to as many people as you possibly can. I know some people gonna make that impossible, but don't worry about it. Just make sure every day, take the time to be kind to yourself. Because you know what we can't do? Pour out of an empty cup. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I appreciate those shares, Kane, man. Again, I appreciate you. We still got to do the pause episode at the very least for fun. Where can you converse with Miss Tommy? Mm. Now I don't want to, because she got school and working a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to volunteer, contact her like for so forth and so on. Once she gets to that space that she's having offline or outside of Life Be Life and conversations about this, for sure. I'll bring that address, you know what I'm saying, whatever email address or whatever IG page she develops. Yeah, I'm low key planting that seed. Um,
I actually already
Whatever
have
she decides to develop for that, I will bring it here. She'll bring it here, and she will share it so that what I mean, saying the conversations that's going to go outside of the Life Be Life in segment or episode, y'all could continue to have with her. But right now, she just getting started. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Let's break her in. You know what I mean? Let's ease her into her phase of what it is she got going on. Let's not, be too demanding. All right, because she doing this for the love. She ain't even charging her brother. When somebody has professional experience and they ain't charging you, you can't press up on them too hard. You heard me? You got to work on their time. But again, thank you for joining us, Mr. Tommy. Thank you all for joining us. Take care of yourself. I'll let y'all be safe, but we gone.